Assalamu alaikum, students.
Walaikum Assalam, sir.
In previous lecture, we were studying the fundamentals and basic of SQL. We studied a bit about how SQL can help you to make some sort of, to run some sort of queries, and how the statement should be written. We have to discuss the syntax of those statements. Prior to that, we have to develop or create a table that we likely to use in our databases. For that, surely for the table structure, you need data types, and we have to see which data types are supported by the SQL. So sometimes it may a bit vary from product to product that we are using. What I recall when I was learning Oracle in 80s, might be in 88, 89, 88 perhaps. So there were more than 15, 16 data types in Oracle. Nowadays might be it's 20 data types in Oracle. Similarly, different data types, they are common, very are common. Some may be different from other product. When we are using any product, then we have to think about which data types it supports. So in our previous lecture, we studied what sort of data types those are being used in order to create a table. We have a bit review about that, then we have to go forward in order to learn how the table should be created. This is one pictorial form of the data types that I have copied from net. The SQL data types may be numeric, character, date, time, Unicode, binary, miscellaneous. That is written at the right side, and we have to use which data types we likely to use in our project. Mostly the data type those are written, those are used in your projects are integer, let's put decimal, character, date, etc. And here there are written bit, tiny bit, small integer, integer, big integer, decimal, numeric, float, real. There are many data types those you can use in order to create your table. It is given a brief about that you can use character, varying character, numeric, temporal, Boolean data types. And in the next slide, it has given what are the values that you can use for that data types. That's the minimum value, the maximum value, how much space that attribute may take when you declare that as a character or variable character or numeric or so and so. That is in the coming your slides. So one of the data type, that is the character, it types string data type. So it is designated by the character. We can also CHAR abbreviation, we can use it for that. And within there is a written n. N means number of characters that you need for that attribute. Let's suppose I have a name as an attribute. I say the maximum length for the name should be, let's suppose 30 characters. Then I can write CHAR in brackets, so I can write 30. It means the attribute name, length of that attribute that will accommodate number of characters is 30. Similarly, we have varchar. This is a character varying. That's also with the help of the n. I will discuss it in next slides. This is bit data type. You can store your data in terms of bits, bit varying. We have numeric data types, that is numeric, decimal, integer, small integer. You can get more concept about that when you will use this data type. For the time being, I will discuss each of them and I will let you know what is the maximum value with that, what is the minimum value with that you can use for that data type. For there is a float data type, real data type, there is a Persian. Double Persian means how many numbers or digits should appear at the right side of the decimal point. Might be for single Persian, it might be up to 6-7 digits. For the double Persian, it might be up to 15 digits of at the right of the decimal point. You can use it, depends upon the nature of the data. Usually real time systems or in some sophisticated systems, we need manipulation of the data, that is real data. In that you can use a Persian up to 15 digits after decimal point or 20 digits of decimal point. But in normal data, like say this is the pay of any person, this is price of the item, so and so, just you need 2 to 3 digits after decimal point, usually the 2 digits. It depends upon the nature of the data that you likely to use. So date, time, the date is a data type, time is a data type. So timestamp is a data type. It takes both date and times and fraction of seconds. There's an interval data type. So these are the data type. Those are being used in different products of, that is RDBMS. Just you have to keep in your mind that implementation of these data types may differ in their support of these data types. It may vary from product to product. Whenever we likely to use any product, might be we are using Oracle, SQL Server, or simple SQL, so and so, we have to go for that, which sort of data types it is supporting and what is the constraint with that. I have copied these slides from the net. The source is written there. It says the data type character. This is varying character max text. On the right side, there is a written description. It depicts that if you define any attribute and say its data type is character, that is abbreviated as CHAR. It says the description fixed length with maximum length of 8,000 characters. It means if you define any attribute and you say its data type is character, it may accommodate 8,000 character maximum. But you can give that data element number of characters that is needed by you. You can say name is attribute, it may contain only 30 or 40 characters. Similarly, you can say there is a attribute title of the book, let's suppose, it may contain 60 characters. Then you say CHAR bracket open 60 and bracket close, so and so. Similarly, varchar, there is 800 characters maximum, variable length, there is another. So these text use, it is text as a database, it may contain up to 2 GB data. So this is the constraints with every data type. And but we must confirm when we are using that should be available with the manual of the SQL, with the manual of MySQL, and which data type that product supports, that is given there. So this is a numeric data type. This is bit, tiny bit, small integer, big integer, decimal, numeric, float, real. Their values, that the minimum and maximum, that is written on the right side in the 2 columns. For example, if you say this, there is a written small integer, it is -32768 and 32767. If you recall that, then you say, oh, this is also in C and C++. This is integer data type that is there. So if you say tiny integer, that is the one data type, and its values are minimum is 0 and the maximum is 255. If you think about, if you have studied C or C++, and one of the variable, you define that as a character. So that is also data type available with that. And if that is used in numeric form, you can accommodate 0 to 225. That's integer value in that. And it occupies, let's suppose, 1 byte. So similarly, these are the limits given. And if you give data type to any attribute and keeping in mind what should be the maximum value, what should be the minimum value, then we have to give that data type to our attribute. If my need is that the maximum value of that attribute may be within 32767, not more than that, so I have to define that attribute as small integer rather than integer, because integer can accommodate big value and it will occupy big space that is not needed for me. My data is within the range of, let's suppose, 4,000, 6,000, and so on. So in that manner, you can give your data type to allot or give data type to the attribute. So there is a floating point values, that is real values. The range of values are given on the right side. So this is date and time. So if you define an attribute having type date, then it is stored in the format, this is year, month, and days. The time is stored in terms of hours, minutes, and seconds. Date, time, that is both in year, month, days, hours, minutes. This is the format that is given. So it depends upon your own need. If you say I have two attributes, date is an attribute that is declared as date and other attribute declared as time, you can use these formats. If you say that data type I like it to use date time and my variable should occupy both the date and the time, then you declare that attribute as, or give data type to do attribute at date time, so and so. So these are available with your SQL. Then we have, this is binary variable, varying binary, and its values are given on the right side. And one of the other data type is image. It can occupy 2 GB binary data. So these are available with you. It depends upon the nature of data that you are using in your project. So this is Unicode characters. In the very beginning, when we were learning, we were only learning the ABCDEC and your ASCII characters. Nowadays, the Unicode that occupy more characters, they're very symbols in it. In order to accommodate, they also define data types, that is nchar and varchar maximum and text and so and so, and the range of values from minimum to maximum that is written there. So this is miscellaneous data types, that is character large object, CLOB it is called. It can hold 2 GB data. Similarly, binary large object, it is called BLOB. Then XML. Then you have JavaScript object notation, JSON. So these are also data type that you may use, but depends upon your own need, which data types is needed for that attribute. Although these are available within database management systems. When we are familiar with these data types, and now we have to create a table, because we like to get our observation about any entity, and we like to store that in our tables. In that, we have to, in the very beginning, define the structure of that table, because for each entity you have a table. that basically accommodates data. And what we have to do in order to create a table. Are you listening, please? Hello, are you hearing? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Silence. So I say the students are hearing me or not. In the very beginning, you have to identify data type for the attributes. And if just you have to at the outset, you have to define the name of the table. And the name of the table should be in a way that if other person have go through that documentation, they know what sort of information or data should be within that table. Let's suppose I say the name of the table is customer table. Let's suppose it is very much related to the customer information. Let's say the name of the table is product. Let's suppose it means it may have all the information about the product. Let I say the table name is student. So we say might be the information related to students are accommodated in this table. So you have to give some good name the table you likely to create. Furthermore, you have to think about which practices of that entity type we likely to collect or gather in order to prepare our database. For example, if you say I am dealing with an entity that is student, so might be I say there should be name of the student, there may be registration number of the student, there may be courses registered by the student, there might be what is his hobby, so and so. It depends upon the needs of that project. So for those attributes, you have to see which sort of data that is needed for as values for that attribute. So might be you say the data type of an attribute, a name might be all characters. And if you say the fee paid, let's suppose this is another attribute. So might be you say this is a real number, I likely to make it as a decimal or integer or real because we have numeric values. And if we have numeric values with a decimal point, then you have to choose a data type that will support this decimal point to be there. Further, identify columns that can and can't be null. So this is also on the part of you when you create a table. And moreover, we always say if we have to define any attribute as our key attribute and key attribute as a primary key, so in order to have some sort of constraints from RDBMS, they say that primary key must not be null. So within that we can say this column is not null and other columns may be null. It depends upon, but if you declare that key as a primary key, so we have to define that. Further, identify column that must be unique candidate key. Might be within your table you have 2, 3, 4 attributes, those may be unique. For example, you have a table that have a student ID or registration number, you say it's always unique. Furthermore, you are saying there is also a passport number of the student, and that may also be a candidate key because passport number they never overlap. So in that manner, you can say there are two candidate keys to be a primary key. Third, you can say there is also a license or the vehicle, let's suppose, and you say this is also unique for each individual, we can take it as a key. In that manner, you have 3 attributes and those are the candidate keys, and any of which you like and more preferable, it depends upon you. You can keep it as a candidate key and you say this value is unique. Further, it is talking about you have to define primary key and foreign key if we have to join two tables. We have studied join operations. This is only a primary key in table A. If that is same is referenced in another key, then you say this is a foreign key, and we have to decide for our tables which should be our foreign key, which should be our primary key. This is prior you are creating a table. This is your understanding about the data you likely to collect and store. Further is talking about that determine default values. This is also a one of the option. In order to enter that repeatedly, you say the default option is true for all the records. Our default option is let's suppose male is one of the attribute, and we say we are collecting the data only about the male persons. So might be you declare that this is a default. Any record in which that attribute that we declared as male, all the records in that table should have that attribute value as a male. Furthermore, identify constraint on columns. You must understand about what should be the value of that column, and all the values of that column should be from the same domain. I give you one example. I ask a question. If you have an attribute roll number and you have also an attribute registration number, let's suppose both are integer, can we write the value of your roll number in the column that is registration number? No, because both have different domains and every column contains the value from its own domain. You have to say what is the domain specification of that column and what are the constraints on that column. Constraint means what should be the maximum value, what should be the minimum value. I have discussed in my prior discussion that you have also constraints on the data types, but you have also your constraints about that attribute. I say that one of the attribute is age and its data type is integer, and integer may contain minimum maximum value, that is the big values, but we say the age must have values. It has constraints within, let's suppose, 1 year to 200 or 150 years maximum. And if I input any value beyond that, I received some sort of alert from the system that you are entering wrong value, because we have some sort of constraint with that. The age of the person may be 1 year to 150 years for my project, and so and so. It depends upon the constraint that you have defined. So further it is talking about that we have a table and we have associated indexes. Because if we develop those indexes, our retrieval is very fast. Rather than sequential retrieval, we have to go index retrieval is more rapid and fast. We can also specify index of that table. So all these things we are talking about, these must be supported by the syntax that is given for the table. Any command that will help us to create a table, and what we are discussing, these should be available within the syntax of that command. To create a table using SQL, the user need to specify 4 components. Name of the table, I already discussed with you. Name of each column in the table, data type of each column, and maximum length of each column. That is a constraints with column. So one thing that you have to keep in your mind, that the names of the table, name of the columns, those should be coined in a way that it will give you some sort of clue what sort of data should be contained within that column. It's good for you, for the database developer. So this is a syntax of table, that is create table. It is written create table name, column definition, table constraints, on commit, delete, preserve rows, where column definition, column name, domain name, it's many things those has been introduced in the syntax, and we may get more familiarity with this whole syntax when we use it. In the very beginning, we just use it in a simple way. We say create table and table name, and what should be attributes. Those will be included in that table, and what is the nature of the data type of those attributes, and we have to give constraint if any, like what is the primary key and what is the foreign key and so and so. So at the outset, you have to see this. There are many things are written in the syntax. So the constraint that you can use with the SQL, that is any attribute that may not be null, that's not null, it may be unique, it may be default, it may be check constraint validate data when the attribute is entered. Just I say I entered a value for the age that is beyond 150 in number, 150 years, that I in the very beginning declared the maximum value. So my system should give me some alert that you are giving wrong value for this attribute. We have to check it. These are available with the syntax of the creation of the table. We just at the outset we have to constrain ourselves. Just we say the syntax we are using, create table. These are the reserved word. You have to write it as it is. Then the table name. This is coined by you. So you can give that table name, and but you have to give that table name, like I say, very much related to the name of the entity. It will help you to understand that all the data within this table is regarding such and such entity. Then we have say column 1 data type, column 2 data type, column 3 data type, column 4. These are the attributes, and we have to say what sort of data type it's using. And that's then this is, you have to get close and the semicolon is there. This is the syntax to run with the SQL. We go for an example. So in this example, I take a table that is module, and we say this module is entity. And what is the name of the module? You have character 15, not null, unique. In this way, you are saying that this attribute is not null and have unique value. And if it has unique value, then you can say unique. Otherwise, if it's not taking as a primary key, you can say it might be null and so and so. You can remove this part. And here I have written CHARACTER. You can only write CHAR, the abbreviation, and its total length is 15. Similarly, what is the level of that module, in which level it is being studied? You say this is small integer. We have values for the small integers. It has range. We can give value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Then we have a course code. And which course code? This module we are learning, it has only character 3 characters, and the staff number, that is integer. And who is teaching that? We have some unique number for that teacher. We say this is integer. Just we have to get the concept. We have to write create table, give the name of the table by yourself, then whatever attribute you have already identified to be considered for the structure of this table, those are written, and you also decided what should be the nature of data type that it must accommodate. So you have to declare in this way. So this is the create table command. You can also say create table statement of SQL. This command and statements, they usually interchangeably used in this. Any column in the table can be specified as being not null. This means that the user is then unable to enter null value into that column. Usually we do that if we take that attribute as a primary key and it say not null. It prohibits, stops us to enter null in that column. Furthermore, any column can also be defined as being unique, that I already discussed. The clause prohibits the user from entering duplicate values into a column. If you repeat that value in that column, then you will receive some sort of alert from the system that this is a duplicate. So these are the constraints that you can attach with any attribute, any column during creation of a table. So this is one example. We say we have to create a table. Its table name is customer. We say customer ID. This is an integer value. Let's say first name. This is varchar. This is last name varchar, address varchar, and country varchar. All the attributes, those are basically characters. And one value, that is customer ID, is integer. And if you add another value, that the payment he has made, and we say the payment he has made, that is some sort of real value with decimal point, then you can declare that the data type that is more suitable for that attribute. Are you getting my point, what I am talking about this? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you done any exercise on that? आपको
No, sir.
and in workshop, in lab, have you created some table or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. And which database management system you are using? SQL Server? Which database product you are using? Hello? Hello? No reply from your side. Hello?
Yes, sir.
आप कौन सा डेटाबेस प्रोडक्ट जो उधर यूज कर रहे हैं?
जी सर.
कौन से यूज कर रहे हैं? SQL सर्वर, SQL, MySQL, क्या यूज कर रहे हैं उधर?
SQL सर्वर जो है PHP में सर जो यूज करते हैं.
अच्छा.
लोकल होस्ट में
टेबल क्रिएट करके देखा है आपने?
जी सर.
अच्छा, ऐसे है कि उसमें उसके अपने डेटाबेसेस हैं. दोज आर बेसिकली यूज फॉर योर टू डेवलप योर स्किल सेट. उसमें उन्होंने अपने डेटाबेसेस दिए हुए हैं, उसमें काफी टेबल हैं
सर. लेकिन अगर सर हमें ना लॉगिन फॉर्म के साथ डेटाबेस करवाएंगे तो वो ज्यादा इजीली समझ आएगा कि फ्रंट एंड और बैक एंड दोनों एक साथ करवाएं, तो कि कोई लॉगिन फॉर्म बनाए या इस तरह रजिस्ट्रेशन फॉर्म हो.
अब मुझे पता नहीं बेटे, आपने जो फ्रंट एंड के लिए क्या सीखा हुआ है, वो किसको तो कह रहा था कि मैं इनको PHP में करा दूंगा, क्योंकि मैं तो आपको PHP नहीं करा रहा, मैं तो जस्ट आपको डेटाबेसेस पढ़ा रहा हूँ. तो वो
तो PHP में
कह रहा था कि मुझे नहीं पता आपने PHP सीखा हुआ है या नहीं सीखा हुआ, या
सर हमें PHP सर रियाज भट्ट साहब से मैं कर रहा हूँ, मैंने सब्जेक्ट उठाया, लेकिन जो लैब वाले सर हैं वो PHP नहीं सही सिखा रहे ना, उन्होंने कोई इतना सही समझाया हमें. और उन्होंने क्वेश्चन जो है पैरामीटर्स के हमसे पूछ लिए लैब में.
अच्छा चलो. अच्छा मुझे ये बताएं कि आप जो PHP है ये अपना सीख रहे हैं, अपना लियाज साहब से सीख रहे हैं?
जी सर, वो लियाज साहब पढ़ा रहे हैं, लेकिन ये सब बच्चे नहीं सीख रहे. मैंने कोर्स उठाया वेब इंजीनियरिंग, तो मुझे तो वो पढ़ा रहे हैं, बाकी का नहीं
सर
पता.
मुझे पहले से
देखो बेटे, ये डिपेंड करता है कि आप कौन सा ना फ्रंट एंड पे यूज करना चाहते हैं. ये 97-96 में ना हम ये एक्टिव सर्वर पेजेस यूज किया करते थे. उसके बाद बेटे ये तकरीबन 2002-3 में मेरा ख्याल 3 में यहाँ पे PHP पॉपुलर हो गया पाकिस्तान में. तो फिर लोग PHP यूज करना शुरू कर दिए. मैं ना उसको अरहम को बताऊंगा कि आपको PHP अगर वो यूज़ करते हैं तो इसकी कनेक्टिविटी आपको सिखा दे कि जो भी आप डेटाबेस प्रोडक्ट यूज़ कर रहे हैं इसकी कनेक्टिविटी के लिए कि आप वो स्टेटमेंट वहाँ पे लिखते हैं उनकी कनेक्टिविटी डेवलप हो जाती है। और उसके चंद चीज़ें आप उसकी देख लें, अगर तो आपने PHP नहीं सीखा हुआ फिर आपके लिए थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाएगा कि यू आर अनएबल टू राइट ए प्रोग्राम यूजिंग PHP। तो उसके आप वेरिएबल डिफाइन करने जो भी करना आपने तो फिर आपके लिए मुश्किल हो जाएगा अगर आपने सीखा हुआ नहीं। तो इन द वेरी एट द आउटसेट आप ये कहें कि आप अपनी स्किल डेवलप कर लें कि हाउ टू दिस प्रिपेयर और डेवलप डेटाबेसेस, हाउ टू प्रिपेयर टेबल्स और इसमें सिक्योरिटीज कैसे करते हैं, तो फ्रंट एंड तो आप फिर भी बना सकते हैं। तो जो इसका क्रक्स है इस सब्जेक्ट का, दैट यू हैव टू लर्न दैट। ओके बेटे। और उसमें ऐसा है कि आई विल लेट यू एडवाइज के इसमें जो SQL सर्वर आपने अगर इंस्टॉल किया हुआ है तो उसमें उसके अपनी डेटाबेसेस हैं और उसकी अपनी डेटाबेस में एक में कितनी टेबल दिए हैं उन्होंने, और उन टेबल को आप यूज़ करके अपना उन डेटाबेसेस को यूज़ करके उसमें से वो जो टेबल दिए हुए हैं उनमें देख ले, उसमें सिक्योरिटीज करके देखना है जो हम स्टेटमेंट्स पढ़ें अपनी। और फर्दर मोर दैट यू हैव टू डिफाइन योर ओन टेबल। कोई भी आप जो भी आप प्रोजेक्ट लिया हुआ है आपने उसी की अगर डेटाबेस का अपना प्रोजेक्ट है उसमें आप 2, 3, 4 टेबल जो आपने बनेंगे आपके नॉर्मलाइजेशन के बाद उन्हीं को आप क्रिएट कर लें और उन्हीं से क्वेरीज करके देखना शुरू कर दें। इससे आपकी प्रैक्टिस हो जाएगी। ओके
ओके सर।
सो व्हेन वी हैव टू क्रिएटेड ए टेबल, हमने ये देखा है कि व्हेन वी हैव क्रिएटेड दैट टेबल जस्ट वी हैव टू से व्हाट आर द एट्रीब्यूट्स दोज आर इन्वॉल्व्ड and the nature of data that we likely to address, and within that syntax you have to write create table. Table name is given by the user. Then we have to give the names of your attribute, those are coined by you, and the data type that is available within that product, which whatever product you are using Oracle, you are using SQL or SQL Server, whatever. So you have to use those data type, those are supported by that product, and you have to create a table. The next thing is that the table structure has been created. Now you want to add data or insert data to that table. For that we have to study an insert command, and its syntax is insert into. This command is insert into, and it is used to enter data to a table. Its general syntax is given as insert into. You have to write these keywords as it is. Then you have to write the table name. For example, you have created a table named as student. Then you have to say insert into student. And within these brackets, you have to say what are the column names. And sometimes this is optional. If I say I have 6 attributes, those are defined when I was creating that table student, just I can write only insert into student and omit these column 1, column 2, column 3, and just I have to write values, and we have to return 6 values for 6 columns that we have defined. It is also applicable. And if you write column names one by one, that's also good. Sometimes you likely to insert the data in some of the columns, not all columns. So this is flexibility with this insert into command. In the general syntax, we have written insert into table name that is given by you, the table name that is you have already created. The column names, let's suppose you have student's registration number, and you say student name, then you say student hobby, then student fees paid, and so that is written this way. And after that you have to give a word that is values. This is also a keyword, reserve word, that you have to use values, and within those brackets you have to give value for each attribute. The another format is insert into table name. You need not to write the all columns. All columns are implicitly considered, and just you have to give the values. The more that you have to keep in your mind, that is the values, those are given after the word value. those should be in correspondence to the columns that you have defined and their data type. If I define the first column or first attribute as character, then the first value should be as characters, and that should be within single quotation. Those are basically character. If that is second value, it is integer, then you have to say comma and then give value 2 as an integer value. So the corresponding should be there. Okay, did you get it?
Yes, sir.
This is the command that we have to use. It is given the syntax and the values. Insert into module. We have given all the attribute that we have created in our table. That is module name, level, course code, staff number. You just keep in mind that the spelling of the attributes that should be same as defined in the command that was create table. If the spelling is wrong, or then it might be problematic. So the values for the module name, that is information system, and the level 3, that is the course code, computer science, let's say D, and the staff number, this is given. We have given 4 values and we have 4 attributes. When you have to enter that, this should be executed, and we have one record in our table having these values, and we can insert another row, another row, another row. So in order to insert a row or record in a table, you have to write insert into command. Okay. This is another example given. Insert into customers, customer name, city, country, phone. So whenever we have created a table customer, and we say the customer name should be characters, city name should be characters, and country name should be characters, and the phone number should be numeric. So we have to say values, first value, second value, third value, and so and so. So these are the examples that very simple. And insert into command is used to add your data to a table, to insert data into the table. Now we have to discuss the select command. Select command is basically used for retrieval, and it is very, very strong and very, very comprehensive detail of this select command. We must know that in its proper sense, and all the forms that we have to discuss in next slides. The select command is used, and it is very powerful command in order to retrieve the data. Its general syntax is given: select whether we need all the records or we need distinct records, and then we have to write from table name, and with the table name we can use also alias, where condition, then we group by, then order by. All this syntax that is given, we have to discuss it one by one, and I will give you examples of that, and you must learn in depth this select command. So just at this moment I will give you a bit brief. An example is written at the end, at the bottom. It is written select star from modules. Star means it's a wild card. It means it will give you all the attributes, those are written there. Yeah, you need not to give each attribute there. With the select command, even you can do some sort of manipulation. Let's suppose I have an attribute that is let's suppose basic pay of the employee. I can say select from this the table, yeah, And what I have to select? I have to select pay multiplied by 0.45. I say this is my, let's suppose, house rent. So it will be calculated there, and the column name should be there that I give myself, and the manipulated data should be there. So in the very beginning, we just start only, we have to display the contents of the table. So we have discussed 2-3 things in the very beginning when we're talking about relational algebra. Okay, in relational algebra we discussed one of the operator that is was called projection. Did you get it? Projection. You also studied some sort of selection, and if I need, I have to use the projection, and projection restricts your retrieval to those columns those are needed by you. So in a select command, if you write the columns needed by you, you are not needing all the columns. You just need 2 or 3 columns from, let's suppose, 10 columns of that table. You have to give the name, and it will give you output of all the records are there. And if you say, no, I need not to display all the records, but I like to display the records conditionally. For example, I say there is a table student, and I like you to display all the records in which the name of student starts with A, let's suppose, not with B or C, only with A. So you have to put some sort of condition with that, with your select command. And that condition is introduced with the help of where class. Did you get my point? So you have to say select start where, let's suppose, name. Let's suppose you say name is Ashraf, name equal to Ashraf. We also discuss some sort of the operators that we can use, that less operator, less than, greater than, so and so. So we can use with this. Let's say we have a customer, our relation. I say select star from customer where the phone number is greater than this, or phone number is equal to this. Only those record will be displayed, those will fulfill that condition. So you can use select command without where class and with where class. Similarly, we have to use group by, having, order by, and we have to, I will explain each of them one by one. Just at this moment, I let you know that select command is very powerful command. It is used for the retrieval of and displaying that data that is accommodated with the help of the tables. So you must have some sort of skill to use this select command. This select command also used for the not only query, for also for the sub queries. So we have to also say how this should be used for the sub queries. Furthermore, we also use this select command using our join operations. So there are many examples for that, and we have to follow that. So this is a table. Its table name is staff. It is created as staff number, name, and pay, and we have insert data into it. So the first 2 attributes are character, and the last one is decimal, and you can give the value in that, and here you can say 00. So insert into table. This table is staff, and you have value this one. The first one record is added to that table. Select staff number, name, pay from staff where pay greater than this one. So only records those meet this condition would be displayed. And if I am not using this where class, I just say select staff number, name, pay from staff, then all the records should appear there. Did you get my point? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Whenever you likely to retrieve your data conditionally, then you have to use where class. And in this manner, you can use your operation that you have studied in your relational algebra and recall that operations, what was projection, what was selection, and so, and keeping in view that you have to use these SQL commands. So the next command is deleting data from table. Okay, and we have to complete up to this one, or it should be studied in the next lecture. Do some sort of exercise up to create, insert, and select command. Okay. Hello.
Okay, sir.
Do its practices many times, so it should be on tips. And in the next lecture we have to go for next command. But I say, why not we have to discuss more and more aspect of select command. Yeah. And let we decide, then we have to, in the next lecture we have to discuss all these things. So have you learned something? Hello.
Yes, sir.
All are silent, looks like. Yeah. Huh? It shows only 28% who have attended the class. Yeah. So let me. Any question from your side? Okay. That I have to stop recording.